It's time to eat. It's time to eat. I set my New Year's resolution goals and I'm already starting to achieve them. Comment down below if you set any New Year's resolution goals and let me know if you're achieving them. Let me know if you've fallen off the bandwagon. Let me know where you're at with your goals. One of my goals not only is to increase my own personal net worth by, I guess that would be the equivalent of, let's just say 20% for the year. I think I'll actually be able to beat that goal. But I also wanted to lose some body fat. But comment down below what you guys' goals are right now. We just had a pretty significant amount of snowfall in the South. And it's, it's not normal that we have that much snow, but this year was a little different. But a lot of folks ended up getting stranded. And at the end of the day, a lot of folks ended up finding themselves in the same situation that they find themselves year over year, complaining about their current situation, which is they feel like they're not getting paid enough for what they do. Their boss doesn't really appreciate them. It's like pulling teeth to get a raise. They may or may not have the ability to work from home anymore. And sitting in traffic day in and day out, feeling defeated, like, how do I get off this hamster wheel? These are the kind of issues, these are the kind of thoughts and questions that people are dealing with like right now. And it's real. And a lot of these companies, they don't really value employees like employees feel that they should be valued. And it's like, so what do you do? I don't know if you're like me, but I remembered just this feeling of always being, I remember this feeling of always have my employer having me by the balls. And I hated that feeling. It's like they could just eliminate my job whenever they want to. And then where would my family be? What would I do if this job decided to do a layoff? Let's be real. It's 2025. Layoffs are no surprise. Companies do it. And depending upon what industry you're in, it's only a matter of time before you get hit, right? So that anxiety builds up. And, people talk about how much stress they have in their lives. Well, oftentimes stress comes from the job, lack of job security, not having enough invested or saved for a rainy day in case of emergencies. And all of this adds up. And then, of course, let's not forget about the fact that almost everything is so much more expensive today than it has ever been. In fact, there is nothing that is less expensive today than it was, say, a couple of years ago. So with that being said, what are people doing to prepare themselves so that they can break this cycle of being stuck on this hamster wheel and break the cycle of feeling like, this anxiety that keeps you up at night, raises your stress level? I mean, think about how many people who are dealing with this every day. Like when you're in traffic at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and the traffic's not moving, think about how many other people live in the same miserable life, like wishing that they didn't have to be in traffic, or wishing that they didn't have to wake up that early, or wishing that they could just simply work from home instead. And this has become a bigger and bigger problem. And the other thing is that the amount of time that some of these jobs take up, it's like, when am I going to spend time with my family? Like, please tell me that this is going to get better at some point, right? Anyway, but this is what people are dealing with right now. And so I actually saw an article, and it's like, It was talking about the top 10 work from home jobs that are paying over $100,000 a year. And it got me thinking. It's like, I feel like there's stages of freedom. And some folks, they're just looking for that pathway to get out of the rut that they're in. And so a little bit of clarity goes a long way. But according to the survey, people who work from home had way lower stress and anxiety levels compared to those who had to deal with the day-to-day mundane traffic and, rush hour, going into the office and dealing with a boss who, maybe micromanages you, or, you never get enough vacation time. Think about it. There's 52 weeks in a year. And oftentimes employees have to beg just to get their 2 weeks off out of the entire year. Like it comes as no surprise to me that folks would have high levels of stress when you can't even get like some off time to spend with your family. It almost makes you wonder. It's like, man, is this really worth it? Like dealing with this. And so anyway, this whole snowstorm that we dealt with, especially in the Southeast, because there are some really aggressive hills in certain parts of town. And so why do I care about the hills? Well, you'd care about the hills if that hill was full of ice. And some people took 5 times as long to make it home just because of the ice. Some people didn't even make it home because they had to spend the night in their car on the side of the road. And I understand, this is not all the time, but it's just it's a stark reminder that, some employers are only in it for themselves. Don't really care about the employees. And it's like, what are we doing to break the cycle so that we no longer depend on the employer, or allow the employer to continue to have us by the balls? Now, if you're a female watching this, maybe the employer doesn't necessarily have you by the balls, but maybe the employer has you by the equivalent physical attributes. But anyway, so we're seeing this growing trend of not only entrepreneurs, but people who are looking to retire early, people who are looking to get out of the rat race. I'm seeing more folks looking at different strategies that will enable them to not need to work this job as long as, because what do they say? Retirement age in America is like 65 years old. A lot of people don't want to deal with this that long. I mean, especially if you're, say, like in your 30s or 40s. If you're already 60 and you're like, oh, I'm going to retire in a couple of years, I guess it's not that big of a deal. But if you're in your 30s or 40s, and then you're aware of a lot of these different opportunities where you don't have to do the traditional 9 to 5, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I want a way out. I know there's a way out, but I'm not really sure how to get there. So anyway, I thought I would go ahead and drop this video just because, I was talking to someone who was literally struggling to keep their eyelids open the day after the ice storm, because the night before they were driving home for like 5 hours. Like traffic was so bad, accidents everywhere. And I just kind of wanted to speak to that. I don't know who I'm speaking to out there right now who might be going through a similar situation where it's like, like the way you're living life right now, it's not really working, and you're looking for a new path. If that's you, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you're struggling with right now. And in a perfect world, name one thing that you would no longer want to, name one thing that you have to do to like every week that you wish that you wish that you didn't have to do anymore. And then name another thing that you wish you could do every day of the week that you currently can only do a few times a year. And I want to put something together for you guys that will put you on a pathway to be able to making those goals become your everyday life. Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you next time.